In my previous video, I took this photo of an abandoned Japanese building that once housed some shops and turned it into a 3D model to generate some plans to follow. In this video, I'm going to be building the basic shell of the building. This is Pacific Coast Miniatures. I'm Mark. Let's get started. I'm using a PVC product called Sintra, which is used in sign making. I happened to get some free offcuts from a sign maker friend of my mother's. First off, I'm measuring for the front wall directly off my plans. Sintra does cut with a regular hobby knife by scoring it multiple times and then snapping it off. A bit of sanding to smooth out the cut edge, and it's ready. I also cut a taller back piece and then side pieces that take into account the roof slope, marking them so I know where each one goes. With all the pieces cut, a quick test fit, and things are looking good. I also cut some triangular braces to strengthen the assembly and keep the corners square. Before gluing everything together, I need to cut a hole for the leftmost door. I plan to add the details inside the glazing, like the curtain and the wood cross pieces. For the doors and windows on the right, I'll show that in the next video, as that requires a little bit different approach. Just a matter of cutting through the Sintra for the vertical sides, and then partway through the horizontal top of the door opening, and then again snapping it. A bit of cleanup, and then I took a scrap piece that will act as the backing. Then, starting with the back and sides, I glued the parts together with super glue. Using accelerator to set the bond immediately. I added the corner braces, including the ones for the front, as they will be harder to attach once the front is on. I had to trim the one brace a bit so it doesn't interfere with the door opening I cut. Testing the front again to make sure it fits. And more super glue on all the edges, including the braces. And again, using some accelerator to set it in place quickly. Once the front was on, I put the building upside down onto another piece of Sintra for the roof. I'm leaving a bit of an overhang on either side, and then I marked it and cut it to length. And then again, with an overhang in front, I also cut the piece to width. And then the roof was glued on, making sure the overhang on both sides was even. There are a few places where the front facade of the building has a bump out. This main one is very prominent, and I made it from a thicker piece of Sintra. I actually ended up using my bandsaw to cut it as it was too thick to cut with the hobby knife. It needed a bit more sanding and cleanup as the cut edge was a bit rough. A few guide marks so that I can get it at the right height. And then it was glued on as well. With some weights to hold it down. While I was waiting for that to dry, I folded the bottom edge of the plan so I could better use it for marking directly on the building. For the central one, I used the standard thickness of Sintra, measured it, cut it out, made sure it's in the right position, and then glued it in place, held by a spring clamp. And then there's another one on the left side, which again got another piece cut and glued in place. So that completes part 1 of the build. Now on to some of the details such as windows and doors. That will be the next video in the series. So be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified when the next build videos come out. Thanks for watching.